Another beautiful view of the tower. And you can see the adjacent part of the tower has the blue taken off the windows because they're getting ready to do that with all the other windows. You can see on the higher levels they've already done that up there, and they're going to be doing that to the rest of the building too. We can take a look around the neighborhood of the tower, and this is right next to Columbus Circle. And you can see there's the tower. Columbus Circle is here. All the buildings around here. All the shopping potential. And that's one of the reasons why it was so ideal to locate that tower near Columbus Circle, because it's very close to a lot of transportation. We're taking this video on Broadway, and you can see Broadway is very close to Lincoln Center, where it says Hotel Empire is actually right next to Lincoln Center. And then right next to where we're standing is the Time Warner building. That used to be the location of the former Coliseum, which was a white elephant. And they were looking for some way to rebuild it, so they rebuilt this beautiful structure called the Time Warner building. So just a magnificent job they did. So all along Columbus Circle, they've been building these marvelous buildings. And I think next to go will be that museum that you see. You know, that's very out of place, so I would bet you it will be sold eventually. Not in the next 10 years or 20 years, but very soon that will be considered prime property, because with neighbors like 220 Central Park South and like the tower, you're going to have prime real estate there that will be requested to be used by other people. But you can see how Columbus Circle is just a wonderful, wonderful place to be. Nordstrom Tower, getting closer to completion. It's going to be beautiful. Still an even closer view of the tower. Another perspective of the tower. interesting to look at the neighboring buildings of this tower that's being developed. You can see here, that's the front entrance for Nordstrom. Now you can see here, there's a couple other buildings that are right next to this massive structure that are under construction. Now the center building has always been part of the new construction. The other two buildings are extra that are out there. Now my theory is that in this white building, for example, they're going to use the first 10 floors for retail, and they're going to combine it with the brick structure that was acquired many years ago and to be just used for this Nordstrom. And then this other structure here, my theory is the first 13 floors. At night, when you walk by, you can see the first 13 floors are pretty much empty. So that's just part of my theory. Maybe some lights on, but not many. So imagine having this massive structure at 57th and Broadway, kind of like a Macy's at 57th and Broadway. Now occupying all of these buildings, so this will give Macy's a good run for their money, since Macy's is not too far away from this location. And it goes along with the idea that malls have to have people around them. The big problem with a lot of the shopping malls in suburbia is people are not going to the shopping malls. So what better place to have a shopping mall than right in the heart of a city with 8 million people? Now I think this is going to work, and I think they're doing the right thing. It's just so difficult when you're putting up something like this. Your plans are initiated many, many years in advance, so you don't really know what's going to happen. But the bet could be a good bet, because New York has so many people, so many tourists. It's right in the heart of a major shopping district. 57th and 5th Avenue, for the whole world to know, is one of the highest rental spaces for retail in the whole world. I think it's number 3 in the whole world. This is 57th and Broadway. So it's a very nice location for retail. And you can look down 57th Street, and just a few blocks down there is 57th and 5th. As I said, one of the highest and one of the highest rental spaces in the whole world. And this is just a few blocks away. So I think they're going to do a good job with putting up a new store here, and time will tell, but I think it's going to be great. And I think eventually Nordstrom will probably take over the entirety of these two buildings next to it, because they're going to be able to offer so much more money than the office space that is currently there. So they had they were thinking about this, because originally there was a store on this corner, but a number of years ago, even before they started construction, they didn't renew the lease for the store, knowing they were going to put up this big building, knowing that the rent was going to be that much higher. We'll just take a closer look at the retail space that's here. Just beautiful, beautiful retail space. And the work they've done on that other building, magnificent. A new facade for the first 2 stories. Just magnificent amount of work they've done. Here you can see the center structure. Now they left the facade. The other part of the structure they pretty much redid. That was part of the agreement of buying that building. I would have thought it would have been smarter if they added about another 10 stories to that, but I'm sure they were thinking about how much space they actually needed. Take a look at this beautiful architecture of this building.
Yeah, just mix it up and then,
Then a closer look at the architecture of the other building that they're using. Now, originally there was a blue covering on all these windows that are going to be part of the Nordstrom store, and they have removed it. Obviously they're getting ready to prepare the store, so they want to have the covering off. What a great job they're doing. And right on Broadway they have such an extensive space here. As I said, it's going to duplicate Macy's, but in a good way. And it's right next to this Student Arts League, which they paid $25 million to be able to use some of their air rights. And it was a big decision on the Student Art League's part to allow that, because sometimes people say they might want their air rights to do something else, and you can see the structure that's at the side is what they use the air rights for. And you can see here this beautiful, beautiful structure that they have here. Here we'll just take a closer look at what this facade looks like. Just a great job they've done on this facade. Rippling windows. You don't see that, but I think that's going to make this structure unique versus a lot of other structures that are out there. You can see how beautiful this looks. Here we can see another angle of this beautiful building and the beautiful facade, and then the Student Arts League that's right next to it, and then right over the Student Arts League you can see the extra structure that they built to add space. Closer look at the extra structure that they put up there. It's just magnificent from an engineering point of view, how they did this.